fighters, the 557th had Shirley D shot down by flak, and 2 others returned to base and would never fly again. It was the biggest loss of aircraft in a single day. But it didn't all go the Germans' way. Clyde Harkins, who again is with us here tonight, pleasure to meet him again, and his bombardier, Warren Butterfield, weren't happy on their first run. Despite what had gone before, they turned round and approached again, and their bombs fell squarely on the bridge. You can see the arrow showing the direct hit on the main railroad bridge. Excellent bombing. Our records and interest in missions the aircraft flew revealed that the 557th aircraft 5x5s, which many of you will remember Roger Ray's old ship, completed the war with 188 missions. 188 missions flown, not a single abort. A remarkable effort by her crew chief, Sergeant Corwin, and something he was justly proud of. Now, in my research, I think this is second only to the flak bait, which flew 202 missions with 322nd Bomb Group, and is preserved at the Air Space Museum of Washington. I had the honor of seeing it earlier this week. But not for 5x5s or any other 9th Air Force Marauders were they to come home. They were all blown up in Germany, and only flak bait survives as a 9th Air Force example. In England, the tail section of an old 323rd Bomb Group machine clings to existence, literally. It was recovered from scrap heap up near Liverpool and is in very poor condition. It is the biggest piece we have of a Marauder in England. But what of the 387th Bomb Group's Marauders? What survives of them? Well, yes, we have the propeller cuff, which is the largest piece we knew existed at that time. Fragments have been preserved from crash sites. But just recently I discovered another tangible piece of the 387th Marauder survives. And it's from this aeroplane, Captain Schober's AKP Dream. On the 15th of June, she was flown by Lieutenant McHenry, who's second from the left in this picture, who was the original co-pilot on the aircraft, and on the 15th of June, it was his first mission as a first pilot. A week before that mission, Dan Morse took this picture from the cockpit when KP's Dream was flying her 90th combat mission on the 8th of June. On the 15th of June, as I say, McHenry was flying her to the small village at Villers-Bocage, ahead of the British troops in Normandy. Flak took out the right engine, and Lieutenant McHenry headed back to England, again making for Friston on the south coast, the nearest airfield on the south coast. He was lined up on the airfield to make his approach, and when 3 miles off the coast, the second engine cut very quickly. The plane ditched in the channel, and only 2 of the gunners, Al Malash and Warren Shriver, managed to scramble clear. The rest of the crew drowned in the crash, unfortunately. And that would have been the end of KB's Dream forever. So for 1991, a fishing trawler caught its nets on something. And when they hauled it in, it was the engines and propellers of AKP's Dream. Now sadly, I wasn't to hear about this until about 2 years ago, and in that time the engines have been scrapped. But fortunately, one of the propellers has now been mounted as a memorial at Shoreham Airport on the south coast of England to all Allied airmen lost at sea. And I've just completed a magazine article detailing the details, but they've got the propeller, they don't know what it came from, I do. And I've just completed that story, which will be published early next year. So that's the largest piece of a 387th Bomb Group Marauder that still survives. It's great to see Charlie Keller here tonight, and it's great to meet him again. Remember your Jeep, Charlie? Yeah, I haven't found it, but well, we've done the next best thing. A friend of mine who owns and flies a Spitfire on the airshow circuit in England, he lived in Ongar and he bought a Jeep. And he said to me, do you know a colour scheme, genuine colour scheme of a 387th Bomb Group Jeep that you can provide me? And using this picture and some others we had, we've recreated your Jeep. And he drives that around that Duxford airfield in England. All this research, which can be long and arduous, but very, very interesting to do, brought me to the notice of one of England's noted aviation historians and authors, Roger Freeman. And one night, he rang me up and was talking to me. He said, would you like to help write a book? I said, well, what's it going to take? He said, 6 months hard work. I spoke to my wife, because it's only fair, and she said, I said, I'm going to do it. Just like when she questioned after September the 11th, are you still going to Germany? Going to Germany. Am I still going to America? Yes. Anyway, I said yes, we would do this book. Well, 2.5 years later, we published it. The Mighty 8th War Diary. Marauders were in the 8th, of course, for a while, so I chose the first half of the book. 3 of us worked on it: Roger Freeman, the noted author, myself, and Vic Maslin, who sadly is no longer with us. It was extremely hard work. It's a day-by-day diary of the 8th Air Force and all its missions by all its groups. But it was a great pleasure to work on it. And it was a great eye-opener and helped me a great deal in how to carry out and further research and look for details. So I was very proud to take part of that. And when it was published, first time in 1982, it was the fastest selling aviation book in England. Sadly, I did it for a fee and not royalties. Never mind. Since that time, I've amused myself writing it, as Bert says, aviation articles. I like doing articles because it does give you variety. To date, I've done 2 on the 387th Bomb Group Marauders. Copies were in the foyer earlier in the week, which we brought over. One I entitled 188 Not Out, which was the story of Roger Ray's 5 of the 5s. And the other one was the story of shooting in the 556th aeroplane, which the aeroplane at Dayton now wears those markings, so there was an apt title. And say early next year, probably February time, the story of AKUP's Dream will appear. And I suppose just to even it up, I've got to do a story on a 559th ship now. I'll get to work on it. This is my office. It's North Weald Airfield, as Bert mentioned. He stole half my talk, you know. By accident, I got the job of working there. A friend of mine ran the squadron on the airfield, and I used to work with Ford Motor Company, and I managed 3 departments for them, and we went into great serious recession in about 93, and in 94 I was asked to close 2 of my departments, and I was obviously making myself redundant at the same time. I quite thought I'd get another job quite quickly, but things didn't quite work out. And Anthony Hutton, who ran the squadron north, said, how about working for me? I said, you can't afford me. He said, give me a try. Now, Anthony was a friend, and it's always dodgy working for a friend, but I took a 3-month contract, because that's all I wanted to stay there for. Well, 7 years later, I'm still there. After being there for 2 years, there was a terrific falling out amongst the shareholders of the company, that it wasn't going how they wanted it. And they all walked away and left me the keys and said, okay, Al, it's yours, but don't ask us for money. For 8 years, the company had made a loss. I've run it now on my own for 4 years, and we've been in the black for 4 years, so I'm very proud of that. It's been hard work. The facility, it's an airfield in Britain, 1940. That's our theme. Everything is 1940s. We have a mess bar with World War II pictures, posters. a German bomb that someone carelessly left laying around. We have period aircraft, have a restaurant there, have an engineering hang with 5 full-time engineers. Well, they're there full-time, I don't know if they work full-time. And we have storage hangars as well. The Vista storage hangar, which you can just see appearing on the left of the picture, has been used in a number of filming projects. We've done 5 pop videos. They were doing a pop video yesterday, but I wasn't there, so I put out that one. There's a film coming out soon called Charlotte Gray, about a spy story, a love story, starring Kate Blanchett. That was filmed in our hangar. And on TV at the moment, you've got Band of Brothers, the Steven Spielberg production, about a TV spin-off from Saving Private Ryan. Well, the flying scenes all filmed at Northfield. We had a lot to do with that. And we're very proud of that. And I'm very proud of my role there at Northfield Airfield, which is a very famous Battle Britain airfield. We also have a resident ghost. Now, you may raise your eyes. I thought that when I was told about it when I joined the airfield. But in actual fact, I have seen him as well. And that's quite a sobering thing. And there's a lot of interest in haunted airfields in England. And there are a number of so-called stories. But what of Willingale? Well, this is Willingale Airfield now from 2,000 feet. Little remains. The main feature is the Perry track up the western end you can see running into the lower part of the picture. But we use it as a reporting point inbound to North Weald. We ask the aircraft to report there, and we get them down below London's controlled airspace height between there and when they land at North Weald. Well, my friends once said to me, do I think Willingale is haunted? I said no. There's no ghosts wandering around. But there is a spirit, and that spirit lingers, and it is the spirit of the 387th Bomb Group. And whilst there's people like myself, the second generation people who have memories of your activities, and third generations, we will perpetuate that memory and the memory of the Bomb Group and its history. And I leave you with a picture of a 556 ship in Ireland, high in the sky. Thank you.
On Peter's last trip over here, I had the pleasure of taking him out to Grand Canyon.
Thank you so much for it.
We had about several days together. My wife was in Scotland, prepping over a birth of our granddaughter. And Alan, I have something for you today. It's Adam came from one of the other squadrons when we were down at San Antonio several years ago. A young man came up to me and I said, "Aren't you going to lunch with us out at Randall Field?" "No, I need the money. I'm going to stay in town and see how much I can get for this gold ring." I asked him how much he wanted. He told me I dished him out that much money. I've carried it around, and June got it out. "Aren't you going to take this to the reunion and dispose of it?" And I said, yeah. I decided that he got to see the Grand Canyon. You get a Texas state ring. The fellow who sold it to me had no use for a Texas ring. I had it appraised, and it was appraised by the amount that I paid for it. But I couldn't see this ring getting melted down I had to give you something. Alan,
It's very, very kind.
there you
Thank
are.
you very, very much.
Now, if you bear with me one minute more, I'll tell you about the picture of my Jeep. We had 75 orphans out there on Thanksgiving Day in 1943. They fought 5 square. Those little kids were so smart. I never saw many smart children. And the fellow took a picture of me and my Jeep. Where are you, Benny? There's Benny. Benny. Right. My sweater. Photographer. And Barmack. Right over there. Stand up with your book. He had over 35 years service. He got called back for the Korean War, and he wound up being President Truman photographer and General Eisenhower photographer. That's a long story, but he can do anything. If you ever see this bullseye, there's 2 of them, and he gets. And he made both of them. One for himself and one for me. Thanks a lot. Very pleasant to me.
Sure, he will treasure that.
Thank you, Jim. It's really something. Thank you.
For it's really humbling to think that you consider us worthy of this. Also, I have to include the 558 Squadron. Some names I should mention, of course, are Bert Wostoff, Lloyd Swenson, and our friend Max Fireball. Emails have been going back and forth to arrange this trip. We had it all set up, tickets. Along came September the 11th, all by the board, and we started all over again, but we've got here. As I say, I want to thank you, Clyde, for sending me some information which will be of use when we go up to Marchfield and Chino. And to Earl Seegers for the over-generous donation. Well, we don't deserve it. But as Alan said, we are trying to make sure that the 387th is not forgiven. Not forgiven. Maybe that's right. Maybe that's right. Not forgotten in England. There are many small aviation groups who are always looking for speakers, and Alan has presented similar programs to what he's done tonight to them. Also, the local villages are now forming their history groups, and we've been invited and done the same thing for them. Last year, at the village of Willingale, we had asked to do there, and we went along, took photographs and a slideshow, and they had a turnout of about 70 people, a record attendance. And they were so pleased that we've got to go back again this November and do another presentation. So we are doing our best to make sure that 387th is not forgotten. And I think by the articles Alan has published, more information on the 387th has been made available than any other group or any other Marauder group. So thank you so much for inviting us. Thank you so much for the generous donations. And to each and every one of you who contributed, we thank you from the bottom of our heart. And God bless you all, and God bless this great nation of America. Thank you.
Peter and Alan, we are truly blessed to have you join us. This has been a very special evening for all of us. And at this point, I would like to close with a benediction. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you as you go forth from here. Amen.
My name is Tom Steele, and I'm from Vienna, Virginia.